M177 versus M157. What's the best for me? What's better? I have said that before. M177 all the way. Alright, M177 cylinder wall. Okay, I have shown you that before. Closed deck, much better. 83mm bore. M157, open deck, 98mm bore, and you don't need a magnet here because the magnet, simply, it won't gonna stick. Obviously, by magnet. Alright, what you need a pick. That's what you need. Fine, much softer cylinder wall. 157 piston, 177 piston, 177 connecting rod, 157 connecting rod. Fine, smaller, makes sense, good. Now, I'm saying, in how many videos, I don't know, that the piston, it's been driven from, the connector rod, it's been driven from the piston, from the wrist pin, to be exact. What I'm saying, what I mean by that, I have already mentioned that before. Saying that down on the crankshaft, if you see previous video, down the crankshaft, the connecting rod, when you put new bolts, new connecting rod, new bearings, new everything, you can make this movement on the connecting rod. It's playing left and right, alright? So the clearance is giving here the wrist pin. Piston, actually, where's the... Yeah, 1 second to put inside to understand what I'm saying. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. The clearance that you see here, usually in a normal engine, it's here down the crank between the connecting rods. It's not here, alright? In this case, it's here. Fine, and because of the soft, if you combine it with a soft cylinder wall, when it's warming up, and the connecting rod that has more clearance here, it's much more easy to be unstable. That's my theory. That's my opinion, obviously, right? Now, on the M177, it's not like that. Also on the M156, it's not like that. The clearance that you see here on the M157, it's on the crankshaft down between the connecting rods on the M177. And here up on the piston, there is plenty of clearance. This is how you get used to see the internal combustion engines that has more clearance here, the piston, alright, and here down you have more tight clearance to be more steady the connector on the big end. Now, as soon as you have a smaller piston, you can apply more boost. If you go, let us say, if you put one small piston like this, you can apply 10 bar of boost. There is no problem. It makes sense. As soon as you have bigger piston, you cannot apply so much boost, and as soon as you don't have stability, the connecting rod, it's not the ideal. That's why you see that they're bending even more easy. If the same connecting rod had a width and had a little bit more tight clearance down here and more clearance here up, you're not gonna bend that easy. Alright, it's because the same material, it's not different material, it's exactly the same material, just only it's how to explain all this. Wait, it's like I'm getting this bracket as an example, and I'm applying forces like this. And then I'm getting this bracket and I'm putting vertical, and I'm applying forces like this. Like this, you're gonna get more, it's more strong this way, vertical, than horizontal. Similar to the connecting rod. I'm just trying to explain to be myself clear as possible. Okay, now, if you go back in time and you check, no, you don't have to go back in time, even today, if you get 113 engine and you compare it with M157, it's similar, if it's not the same. Forget the cylinder heads. I'm talking about the crankshaft, the cylinders. Yeah, it's the design of the piston up, it's better, alright? It has, because of the compressor ratio and this kind of stuff, but it's exactly the same. It's tight, the clearance here on the piston up, has plenty of clearance down on the crankshaft. You're gonna tell me, okay, why the M113, it's not bending the connecting rods? Because it does make the same torque and the same power output like the M157, because it's not direct injection, because it's not a dual overhead cam, because of all these things. because the piston is different. If you see also the piston of the 113K, it's different design. It's much more wide here up, has much more surface, and has different piston rings. Similar but different. Okay, for these reasons. Now, think about one thing only. If you go back in time, when they make the 113, it started its life at 4.3 liters. And then they took it, some people, and they make it, they reach 5.5 and 5.4 from production line, and then some people, they make it even 5.9, and they think that's better. This, you are doing it, you are increasing the displacement of the engine when it's not helping you the cylinder head, when it's not helping you the fuel injection, let us say, or the setup. What I mean by that, you have 3 valves per cylinder, you don't have a variable, so how are you gonna increase the power? You are giving, let us say, boost as much as you can, example through the supercharger, then you have to play with ignition timing and fuel mixture. That's it. You cannot play with the camshafts, you cannot play, it's a single cam per bank, and both lobes are on the same cam, so how you gonna play with that? It's similar to the American engines with a single cam in the middle on the valley, the push rod engine, that how you gonna get more power? You have to boost it, and you have to increase the displacement. You don't have any other reason, other way. Now, if you keep the 113 at 4.3 liters with 89.9 millimeter bore and 84 millimeter stroke, as it was being designed before, and you make it a closed deck, and you make it running the piston to don't drive the piston, the connector nut, but the crankshaft, the connector nut. I'm talking about the clearance. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that right, but help me out with that. Fine. I'm talking about don't be like this, and to have more space here up, and to be more tight down on the crank, like the M156, like the M177. If you give it at 4.3 liters, and you put dual overhead cam, you don't put direct injection, you put port injection, you can make more power. And you make it twin turbo application, then yes, you're gonna be bulletproof. Even with the stock internals, you're gonna handle. You're not gonna bend that easy the connecting rods. Now, the M177, it's one thing is that it has smaller bore, you can apply more boost, you can reach 2 bar of boost with the stock internals. We make before 950 wheel horsepower here on an E63S, has a different compressor ratio and has twin scroll turbochargers, doesn't matter. Stock internals 950 still running after how many years, I don't know. Even on a C63S 700 and how many newton meters of torque, it's not suffering that much. It's not about the material, it's about how you put it together, how you place it, how it's designed, if you like. I'm not very good in my English on that. Sorry about that. So on the M177, they copy, for me at least, like the N63, the hot side V, from BMW or from Volkswagen Audi, from Audi actually. The same thing. Small piston, closed deck, cylinders nice and hard. I don't know the material. Some people they're saying this, some people they're saying that. Call it as you like, it's up to you. There's no problem. It's harder, the cylinder wall. The connector nut is much more steady. Smaller piston, you can apply more boost. Much better piston. It has much different support, if you like, since smaller also. It's much better. But this thing, they can do it even earlier. With the 113K, you have a limit. You have a limit from the supercharger. You're gonna explode the supercharger if you put a smaller pulley, or you're gonna have different problems. Then you have a pre-ignition detonations. It's not so fast, the ECU, like the current ECUs, the latest. You have an open deck. You have a soft cylinder wall. You have the connector driven by the piston. You have these things. The same thing also the M157, except that's dual overhead cam. Yeah. But again, you have an open deck, soft cylinder wall, and for these three things, you need to have a combination. If the cylinders, let's get this scenario. If you put an iron sleeves inside, that will not gonna expand the same rate like the stock cylinders, what has the M157, it will not gonna bend that easy, the connecting rod. because the piston is not gonna have the room to play when it's warming up the cylinder I'm talking about. It will gonna bend, but not that easy. Even if you make it closed deck, if it was a closed deck, let us say, yeah, the same story. But the combination of these three things, open deck, soft cylinder wall, and the connector that has so much room down on the crankshaft, and it can make this movement, that's why it's sensitive. For me at least. Obviously, it's my personal opinion. This doesn't mean that I'm right. Fine? If I have to choose between M157 and 177, obviously I'm gonna go for the 177. I'm gonna stay away from the M157. Now, if you have a heavy car, 4MATIC, and you need the torque to lift up the car, to start the car on a drag race example, you're not gonna choose the M177, you're gonna choose the M157, and you're gonna sleeve it, and you're gonna put the piece connecting rods, and you're gonna go from there. It's different application, if you like. You're gonna make much more torque from the M157 than the M177, and you can see from the ball and the stroke. So, what was the question? What do you think is better, M177 or M157? M177, obviously. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Over and out. Have a nice weekend. I forget some things. But the basic, that's the basic things. All right. They improve on the M177. They make smaller piston. They see that you can make a power also with a smaller piston. You don't have to put 110mm piston inside like my head, to make more power, to oversize everything, to stroke the engine up. This is, again, if you have an old engine with a single overhead cam, with a 2 valves per cylinder, you have to do something. You have to boost it and you have to oversize it to make power. You have to put, let us say, instead of burning the normal petrol, 100 and on, you have to start burning alcohol because it can give you better results, better power. But in a dual overhead cam, well-designed engine, you don't need to have a piston like a frisbee. You can do the same job and you can be much better with smaller piston and smaller displacement. I hope that I make myself clear. Thank you very much. Once again, have a nice weekend. Today it's Saturday. Why I'm saying the date, but December 17, 2022. Earlier I make a video for the GLE with a Ben rod. And I remember also to make a video for the question that they asked for me regarding the M177 versus 157. And trust me, definitely I have another video like this. I don't remember when I uploaded it, a couple of years back, but good luck to find it between 2000 videos. Yay, that's it.